Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third class in the Young Family Form Section 2. Today, we're going to review Embrace Tiger, Return to Mountain, and move on to one, as I was saying earlier to folks before class, one of my favorite moves, fist under elbow. So we'll look forward to that today. First of all, do we have any questions before we get started? I have a feeling there is one. Lynn.
Okay, so I know we're going to review what we just did, but when you made the comment last time, if your push doesn't feel right, your bow step isn't probably right. So for me, I think my feet are sort of finally trying to deal with the idea that this is a real bow step. It's just not facing the way you're used to. That's the discomfort. It's not the actual bow step. It's where it's facing. So if I could just mentally come to terms with the direction that I'm facing and act like, yeah, that's it, I'm doing that, then so
go ahead.
So when you end up after that last push,
yes,
like your front foot is pointing to, and I want to make a mark on this with a pink marker. Is it? It's not the corner, right? So is it this side of the corner? It's
okay,
over.
let me just make sure. Okay. So what I was saying is that we would be where we were aiming in a way was a bow step to the corner. And if we had made it to the corner, our left foot would be literally at 12 o'clock and our right foot would be at 4:30, which is that diagonal line that you had.
Right here.
Okay.
That's
I'm sorry. I did not mean 4:30. I did not. Yes, I did. I am so sorry. No, I have screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. This is 12 o'clock. I am going to turn my left foot. If it was a perfect world, I'd turn it to 3. I am so sorry. I would turn it to 3 and then bring my foot in and out to 4:30. This is 6 this way.
Right.
Okay. So that's where we are. But what happens is as I shift, I'm only going to get somewhere between 10:30, which is this diagonal. No, I'm sorry. Is that right? No, between 1:30. So I may have told you wrong. Yeah.
Right.
Between 1:30 and 3.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to be somewhere in there. My foot right now is, about 4 plus, right? I mean, no, 1:30 is like 2 plus, right? And then I'm going to come out for this bow step. And it needs to be the same amount inside the diagonal line. So again, if you're at 3, you're at 4:30. If you were at 11, you'd be at like 3:30 with your right foot.
The traditional bow step, you have you're pointing. One would be, if one was pointing to the corner, the other would be pointing to the flat wall in a traditional bow. Okay,
yes.
So you have the angle that you have of those two is basically 1.5 sections. So if you go 1.5, then that would bring you to this neighborhood for your front foot pointing. So you have back foot and then front foot. Is that?
No. You know what? I'm going to have to, the most important thing to say is if you have the railroad tracks, I think I see what you're saying. If you have railroad tracks straight ahead, right? The feet would be parallel. Your back foot in a bow step is always out 45 degrees from that railroad track.
Right.
So if you just bring your feet parallel and then put your back foot out, so you could have your foot, you know, parallel and then turn it 45 degrees. That would be the other way you could do. You could turn out. This is the same relationship.
Okay.
So it's hard on a,
So that's 45 degrees right there.
45 degrees from where my heel, the parallel line is. My
Right.
parallel lines here, yes. Right. So if I don't make it somewhere, it's still if I go like this, that's still a 45 degrees in if it's a good bow stance. And my railroad tracks are shoulder width apart.
Okay.
So
in the your front toe is pointing at.
so for most people, when this is done, okay, they don't make it to 3 o'clock. So their back foot is pointing. So if they made it to 3 o'clock, I'm just going to go to 3 o'clock now. Their front foot would be going off at 4:30. But because their back foot is in, say, 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Their front foot needs to be back in. I mean, their toes need to be in the same amount.
Hey, Dee Dee.
Yes.
Shelley, just a quick question. I've never heard this. Are you saying that if we can get to 3 o'clock and 4:30, we should?
So what Master Yang, what I have heard Master Yang say is that you won't get to 3 and 4:30. But that's kind of where you would want to go in an impossible world, right? So I have heard him say that you should be close to it, you know, to advanced people, right? That you should be close. It isn't like you should aim. So you're trying to turn 45 degrees, but it's an impossible turn. So you don't turn that far. So the instructions we give people is to turn, you know, inside those lines, but it's going to be your body. So somebody is going to be at, what is it? 1.5 here. And then they're going to be at, 4.5 here.
Yeah.
Right. 4.5 here. Right. That's going to be there. And again, if I turn my toe in, so it's going in the same direction, come up, I should be shoulder width apart. That wasn't the best bow step, but, and I'm not quite, I know I'm not quite angled to the corner when I do that.
So is it an error if you get to the corner?
It's hard to imagine that you could make this turn. I mean, let me do it this way. I want to kind of show you if I were doing it here, this turn, you see how my feet are really crossed?
Yeah.
They're hugely crossed. This is a very unstable position for a martial artist, right? So So we don't go that far. They're still crossed, but they're not as crossed. So
So I
you
guess
need,
the deal is for me is I can make it to 3 o'clock. Easy. So, but I've never done that because I've never thought we were supposed to. And I'm
right.
wondering if I'm doing something wrong. Oh, you're not even seeing me.
I would suggest, I am, and what I would suggest, Shelley, is that you go ahead and be close, but don't quite get there. Okay?
Can I
Think of it in your
something
head.
here, Dee Dee?
Yes?
Can I just add something?
Yes, please.
I think it's important to remember that we're stepping around the back of somebody behind us. And if you're doing that, you're not going to go to 4:30 with that right leg. So that the left leg can't go to exactly 3 o'clock.
Maybe. I mean, I go close, but yeah, I mean, you do want to
I
come
go
back
close.
this way, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, if
And
you
I
were
think
really
that's-
stepping around. Good point. Very good point.
I think, well, for
All
me
right.
anyway, I guess
I'm
we're all a
going
bit different.
Michael's got his video working. I'm glad you're here, Michael, and I'm glad to see you. Terrific. All right. So we are going to stop this for now so that we can get kind of back to the day's agenda. But this is obviously a very rich topic, right? So thank you, Erlyn. This is great. And I have shown all of my difficulties with the clock analogy. The other thing that is true of me, and I will just say it right here, is that I tend to move the clock around a lot so that you folks on Zoom can see. If we were in a studio together, you would move around so you could see, right? I wouldn't necessarily have to keep changing that all the time. The class would move around, but we're here on Zoom, so that's what we're doing. Let's practice though. Before we do, I want to say that there are two things. I want you to pay attention to your grasp the bird's tail, the regular one, when we're in the beginning, and pay attention to your single whip, because embrace tiger, return to mountain is a variation on grasp the bird's tail. So you want to be sort of enjoying that. And fist under elbow starts just like single whip. So, except of course it does it from the corner. Okay. So let's go. So let's get ourselves grounded out of our heads, out of clocks, heads lifting up, shoulders down, little weights on the ends of our fingers, and opening. Left ward off. Right ward off. Roll back. Arms rotating as we swing right, and then hold them there as you go back and swing left. Reeling our arms in for press. And push. Here comes single whip. Shifting our weight back, hands flatten. Turning left, grabbing with that left hand, following in the right, throwing to the corner, shifting back, pushing down in front of us. Make a hook, stepping out for a bow step, strike. Raise hands and step forward. White crane spreads its wings. Left brush knee and push. Hand strums the lute. Left brush knee and push. Right brush knee and push. And one more left brush knee and push. Followed by hand strum salute. Left brush knee and push. Step up, parry, block, and punch. Apparent closing up. Little turn to the left. Arms rotate, palm under the right arm. Coming back, windshield wiper with that left arm. As you stay back, rotate, push as you move forward. Cross hands. Chop to that right corner as you go back. Shifting left, arms have circled. Cross hands. Embrace tiger, return to mountain. Shift to the right. Turning to the right. Shifting back, arms separate, circle. Step around someone for a bow step. And just like a right brush knee. Roll back. I know you're kind of away from me. Just do it anyway. Right hand rises and right to the front and left coming back as you shift back and turn to the left. Reel your arms in for press. And push. All right. Hey, AJ, nice to see you. We are internationally represented in 2 different boxes today that I know of. So that's really nice. That's lovely. All right. So let's review Embrace Tiger, Return to Mountain. And let's see if we can do it actually from a direction where you can see better. So I'm thinking, what's a good direction for that? Let's see, where are we when we start? Sorry about that. Let's just try it from here and see what happens. So cross hands from here, our right hand is on the outside. Nice body position. Whatever is your height is fine. Remember that you're sort of sitting in a chair. We're shifting to the right, embrace tiger, return to mountain. Turning to the right. All our weight comes back, arms separate. Right pushes down as we step. It's a lot like a brush knee. Roll back. Right arm comes up as we're moving to center. Left arm is rotating to palm up. We're coming back slowly right now, but we come all the way back. My left arm fingertips are pointing at my middle forearm. You probably can't see that. And we then turn. Now we're going to continue that circle with the right arm. It's going to circle in as the left arm rotates and press out. Arms separate and back over a ball and up the diagonal for push. And let's do it from here because I think you'll see more. If you start facing away from me, start facing a nice, we'll review, embrace tiger, return to mountain. Shift to the right, turn to that right. That's that pivot on the back foot, right? Your weight's on the right, still on the right foot. Shifting back, arms are circling. You should be able to see what's going on now. And it's like brush knee. Roll back, right arm rises, left arm rotates, you're moving back. And right arm came forward, a left arm pointing towards the center of your middle forearm, and turn to the corner. Continue to circle that arm as you bring your chest back to square to the direction your front foot is going and push forward. Actually, it wasn't quite square. I take it back. You were a little bit to the left there, and then we're coming back in for push. How are we feeling about, is it coming back to you? Embrace tiger, return to mountain. You folks looked good last week. I looked at the gallery. Great, I got a thumbs up from several folks. Okay, would you like to go on? Yes, 2 thumbs up. Okay, we will go on then. All right, so I'm going to show you this. See if I can do it. See if I can do it so you can see it. So here we are. Here we are, not quite to corner. I'm going to come back just like single whip, except everything is kind of 45 degrees off. And here's something that's different. I pushed out instead of making a hook. Now I'm going to step. I'm going to explain it all later. It's just enough of a move. I'm going to do it a couple of times this way. All right, so just like single whip, except the direction is different, and then it changes right here. We drop that elbow, then we step out, we ward off, we rotate the left arm, we bring the other foot up, we big shift and pull and punch. So what's happening here? We're going to throw somebody like we did before. Here's the throw. Remember that? We threw somebody in the corner. Now it's to the straight because we started at the corner. Make sense? Our hands circle around as our weight goes back. Then instead of going up for that hook, we're going to drop the elbow and push out. Anytime you want to release this foot is fine in our school. I release it pretty much at the very end, okay? Your weight's on the back foot. You're gonna step out to the diagonal and then ward off here. You're connecting with somebody right here. Then you're gonna grab them as you bring your other foot up. Both feet are now parallel. Big swing, and as you make this big swing, you're going to make a fist, make a little circle at the bottom, and punch. So I'm gonna, Michael, I think we've got a little noise in your environment, so I'm gonna mute you. If you want to ask a question, it's fine, but I've muted you. So, so let's see. I'm going to do it from here. So there we go. From here, so you see it a little differently. I'm coming back. Here, 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 here. Fist under elbow. In the end, let's see, how can I do it so that I'm showing? Maybe from here. All right. If you look here, you'll see I'm in an empty stance, one line, two sides. My fist is under the height of my elbow, but my hands are at the center. You see that? So sometimes it's nice to know what you're shooting for. Notice the tips of my fingers are below my, just below my eyes. They're sort of nose level below my eyes. All right. So it's a big move. So I think it may be, so you're going to start a little inside the corner, but it is very much, so it's actually a little easier than single whip. You have a couple of degrees or you have 5 degrees. You don't have to go quite as far to get that foot turned, you know, when you're making that turn. Let's sketch it together, just the first part of that, okay? So from, I think it, let's do it from here, thinking that will be easiest. So we are, if you want, you can be at the corner. We're going to come back, start to turn our body to the left, bring our foot around to square to this wall, coming in, drop the elbow and push out. Let's do it from the direction that it actually is, that part following from here. So we're going to do embrace tiger, return to mountain, shift to the right, turn right, shift back, circle our arms, step out for the bow step, polish the table, and strike. Now, rather than doing, oh, let's go ahead and do it. Do that, grasp the bird's tail. We're going to roll back. Press, push. Now just think that you're doing single whip. Shift back, hands flatten, left arm grabs, right arm follows. Your foot is gonna come just to the wall. Okay, that's as far as we're gonna go.
Can I ask a question, Dee Dee?
Please do.
Just you mentioned dropping the elbow. Are you talking about the right elbow down?
It's a very small drop. So that's probably, it's what helped me get it. So thank you for bringing that up. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to just do it from here because you can also, there are parts of our forms where, no, you won't see it there. Here, do it here, maybe. Yeah, here. I'm going to do it where it's supposed to be, and I'm going to know where it is. All right. So here, we're used to doing this.
Yeah.
We just sort of rotate up.
Mhm.
And the elbow is up a little, right? The elbow is up a little, and we just rotate up and make this sort of,
Yeah.
you know, weird shape for, but this is the energy point. So it actually, from the energy point, it's close, right? So it's a very weird shape for a Tai Chi, right? So, but in this case, we come here and we're gonna just drop it a little bit. You see that? Because that allows us to turn in the minimal distance to push out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you still end up like this. Okay.
Yes,
if it's
thank
all
you very much.
timed right, some of you who do martial arts, if it's all timed right, you have that push, and you can then sort of almost bounce off that push towards the next person that you're gonna meet. So what you were doing in this is to explain, just like single whip, you're throwing somebody, and if for some reason they don't budge, we went into this when I taught single whip, your arms probably wouldn't come so far, but look, you can go like this, right?
Mhm.
You can go like this, right? So you can sort of shove them, right? With your hands. So it's just a sort of a variation of that, of what's going on. So how about we move on to the next part? Is that part good for folks? Yes? So you just have to remember. And if you don't remember, it's not the end of the world. You'll need this arm later, but it just hangs out for a while. So I want you to sort of watch again what happens in the second part. So we come around, right? And we push out, and then we step to the corner, and then we move our weight. I want to point out a couple of things. This elbow is going to be over that knee, over your left knee. Then you're going to you're going to rotate your whole body and step forward, but keeping your weight on your left foot. We'll go through that in a minute. And as you do, you're going to grab. You go from here to here. We've done this before, right? This rotation to grab. I'll show you that too in a minute. Then we're going to come back, and weight's going to come back in a big turn. When we do, we're going to make our fist. And then we're going to come up and up, we're going to shift. We're going to also shift to our foot and our heel and punch. All right, so that wasn't the best explanation. Let's do the footwork. Let's do the footwork from here. So just the same footwork that you, so I know you're partly turned away and you're having to look over your shoulder right now. You're gonna shift back, turn, 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 pivot, pivot. Your weight is back. Don't torque your knee. If you can't get all the way, it's all right. Then shift your weight and release your heel as you shift back. And if you haven't already, and pivot on the ball of your foot. Then we're going to step out. I'm going to show you what this looks like in a minute. We're going to step out towards the corner. One line, two sides. I'll explain what that is. And then shift our weight. We're going to take our hips, stand on our right foot, and turn the foot parallel. But we're not going to put any weight on this foot yet. And it's not going to be a full, so that you're kind of standing, looking at the corner. It's probably going to be back a little bit from, if it's not, it's like, it'll feel a bit like a half step. Then we're going to shift our weight to the right and pivot on the ball of our left foot. Lift up our left foot, put our heel down, and empty step on the heel. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to carry this with me now. We'll do it again. So
Edie?
get in work. Yes.
Is that very last heel touch? Is that a one line, two side as well, or is that a both
It
step?
is. It's an empty step, and they are always one line, two sides.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. Good for you. All right, so here we are. Where we're starting, this is where you should generally be ending up. So wherever you generally end up, your left foot is not pointing to 3 o'clock, as we discussed earlier. All right, so we're going to shift back. Our weight is almost all on that left foot. That's going to help you. You're going to turn and point your toes, if you can, at the at 12 o'clock. Shift your weight back, releasing, if you haven't already, your and pivoting on your toe, releasing your left foot. You're going to step out to the corner. Just think about stepping to the corner. Ideally, it's one line. If you're pointed towards the corner, it's one line. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it like this. It's one line, two sides. So my whole front foot is like this. It runs along that, and then it comes behind my heel. But it doesn't matter a whole lot, to be honest with you, where that step is, because your right foot's about to move anyway. Just head it towards the corner. But that's where most of us end up who've been doing it for years. See, the right foot comes up here. It's a natural sort of swing step with your hips. Then you're going to move your weight onto that foot, lift up your left foot, and go into an empty step. And sure enough, that's one line, two sides too. Eventually you'll get so that that's where it is. I don't know if you can really see that. Sorry, it doesn't. Can you see that? It's one line, two sides. So let's just practice that again a little bit. So from here, the footwork, shift back, turn, 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 turn. This is where you're throwing somebody. Shift back, release that foot if you haven't already. Step out. Just think of it, heel toe pointing towards, making a line to the corner. And then you're going to move forward and bend your knee. Okay? Then all your weight goes forward, step up. To me, it feels like sort of 2/3 of the step. It's a very natural step. Shift your weight to the right foot, kick and pivot, kick up your foot and put it down on the heel. One line, two sides, empty step. Empty step, 70% on the back. Remember, you're going to imagine that you've planted a seed in the ground and you're going to push down when you're punching that person. You're going to be pushing down on that heel with 30% of your weight. Okay. Any questions about the footwork? All right. There's no way to really do these arms except to show you parts of it from different angles. So we're going to try it first from here. This is how we're going to be doing it, and then you'll tell me. So let's start and push. We're going to come back, and remember, we're grabbing, pulling. I'm going to just give you a freeze frame here. Our arms, after we've let go at 12 o'clock, our arms make this little circle. I mean, they just sort of circle in just like in single whip, and they come back right in front of us, right? You can release your foot as you shift back if you want, but certainly release it by now. Oh, instead of making your hook, what are we going to do? Little drop of that elbow and push out. That's the only thing that's different. Okay, be conscious of your left arm. We're going to step out. The left arm and right arm don't move. Your body doesn't move. You're just stepping out to the corner. Now, you're going to ward off to the corner. Your elbow is going to feel like it's over your knee. You wouldn't be stopping here, but this is what's going on. Now, you're going to rotate your right hand and sit it up like it's grabbing. We'll go through that in a minute, remind you of that. But let's just do it for now. You're going to push with that back foot, keep the front foot where it is, and just bring it up as you rotate that left arm. The right arm is just traveling with the body. It's still where it was. Now, here is a big move. You're going to shift your weight. I'm going to do it in slow motion. You're shifting your weight to the right and back. And as you do, I want you to feel pulling, turning, and down comes that arm, and you make a fist with your right hand. There's a little circle down here we won't worry about right now. Your weight is entirely on your back foot. So you pick up your foot and change it from the ball to the heel. And then 30% as you punch in, punch in. Let's try it from another angle, if you can. So you're going to imagine that this 12 o'clock is instead this line. So wherever you usually end up there. Hands out for push. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I just want to show you the end. I want to show you what this looks like, okay? Because I don't know if you're going to be able to do it with me. Because at some point, like right now, you're turning away from me. I realize that. but it'll be on the tape. I want you to see this. Right? How that looks. Bye, Sue. All right, so now that you've seen, I'm going to show it to you one more time. So this is what that call means. We're having no problem here. Now we're going to step out. We're going to ward off. My weight's on both feet initially when I do this. Then as I shift my weight entirely there, see this arm rotate, and I take like a half step in the same direction, parallel. Then there's this big swing as my weight goes back. See that? And I make a fist. Then I lift up my foot just a little bit, put my heel down, and punch across my body. If I forget, there is I'm going to give you a link to what all this means. We can talk about it next week. I'm going to give you a link to what all this means. What's actually going around. But what's actually going around is you've grabbed somebody's arm and they're kind of like this, and then you're going to punch them in the kidney. It works really well. This move works really well. All right, so let's try it from the original position again. So from push, shifting back, hands flatten, turning, our foot goes to 12 o'clock, drop that elbow and push, step, ward off, step, change your arm to a grab, like you imagine you're grabbing. Now, use your body moving to your right foot and a big turn to pull down. Have made your hook. It's a little circle here as you change, and up and down. You're lifting somebody so that they're really under your control. You're also putting a lock on their wrist, probably. So questions about that? It needs practice, right? Mariel, do you have a question?
Just confirming like the height at which your fist is at again before you go in when it's in the full hook.
You mean the end?
Before, like the move before that, like when you swing in, like how high you're like where you're.
Okay, let's do it this way. Yeah, just so we can get it here.
Okay.
Does that help?
Mhm.
Okay. So we have limited time. I think we should put these moves together and practice it a couple of times. Okay? So first of all, from here, which is our real position, let's be in push and let's practice it again. Don't worry, we will be reviewing this next week. Shifting back and pull. Foot goes to 12 o'clock. We're pushing out. Step to the corner. Ward off to the corner. Grab, step up. All our weight back as we turn, change our footwork, and punch. Let's do it again. shifting back, just like single whip, foot going to 12 o'clock, pushing out, step to the corner, word off, rotate and step up. You're about to grab. Now you're going to pull with that grab as you shift your weight back and change your footwork and punch. All right. So let's do everything from cross hands now. From cross hands, remember our right hand, our right arm is furthest away from our body. Shifting to the right, pivoting on the back, on the left foot, shifting back, releasing the right, circling our arms, stepping around somebody, polish the table and strike. And roll back, right arm up towards the shoulder, one on, one out as your weight goes back, and turn. Your right hand circles round, your left hand rotates, and you press forward. Opening our arms, coming back for push. Fist under elbow, shifting back. Grab with that left hand, turn, throw to the corner. Shifting around and drop that elbow, push. Step out to the corner. Ward off to the corner, shift your weight and bring in your, rotate your left hand, bring in your right foot. Big turn as you shift your weight back, make that fist and change your footwork and punch. Somehow they always start each section with a couple of really complicated moves. Have you noticed that? Don't worry, you have a lot of skill. So we should, any final questions? We have time for a question if you have one. All right.